Let's go to the next section. Where to visit. Where to visit. The visitation will be done from prospect cards and or door-to-door visitation. The visitation will be done from prospect cards and or door-to-door visitation. Now I know when I say the words door-to-door visitation, I know that probably in some of your minds this great fear came upon you. And you thought, there is no way I'm going to go to anyone's house and knock on that door and stand there and witness for Christ. You know what? Maybe door-to-door soul winning isn't your cup of tea. Then perhaps you should use prospect cards. Maybe prospect cards aren't what you want to use. Maybe you should do hospital visitation. It's not important that you follow every single dogma and tradition that we've kind of developed ourselves over the last few decades. What's important is that we are active and avid witnesses for Christ, not just on Thursday night at 7, but in every area, in every moment of our life. That's what we're training people to become. Where to visit. The visitation will be done from prospect cards and or door-to-door visitation. Continue. In addition, the soul winner should always have both note cards and a pen with him. Note cards and a pen with him. Why should he have note cards and a pen? Think about it for a minute. Continue in your notes. Those whom he meets, comma, friends is the next word there. Those whom he meets, write that in, meets, comma, friends of someone he wins, family members of someone he wins, and others. Those whom he meets, friends, family members of people that you have already won to Christ, and others will all form a soul-winning list which he prays over every day. The soul winner, look at your notes now, look at this, this is so important. The soul winner who is active and doing the job will find that there are more prospects to be visited than he can possibly find the time to see. Now imagine, if you would, that your life and your family and your finances depended on your ability to prospect for your business. Let's say that you don't work in a factory and you don't work in an office setting, but you actually are out there generating leads and generating sales and on the road and doing what you got to do to try to earn the living. Man, I'm going to tell you what, when you are on the road like that, you're writing down lists, you're making sure you got their name spelled right, you're getting their address and their phone number and their email and their fax numbers and their speed dial numbers, and how much more stuff we got to keep track of, I don't know. I hope we don't have any more technological innovations, because I can't remember any more numbers and any more passwords. Amen? I can't do it. But you know, when you're out prospecting for your business, let's say you sell steel, or you sell books, or you sell vacuum cleaners, or you sell cookware, or you sell real estate, whatever it is, you're out there, you're prospecting. They call it beating the bushes, you know. You're drumming up prospects. You're finding people to talk about your business with. Now it's important to earn a living, amen? Someone asked me why I keep the heavy schedule that I do and why I travel and why I'm gone sometimes from the family. I said, well, it's an interesting thing. My 3 children, I have 3 kids, Leah and Ashley and David the third. And I tell them, I said, it's an interesting thing. My 3 children, they like to eat, amen? I mean, you've got to earn a living. You've got to work hard. But think about how important it is as a soul winner to prospect. I mean, someone comes to church, they've been saved the week before, they walk the aisle, they shake the preacher's hand, they make a public profession of their faith, they get baptized. Let me ask you a question. You've been a church member for 472 years in the same church, amen? Now think about it for a minute. I'm kind of being lighthearted, but this is so serious. Who has more unsaved friends? You or that new convert that's just getting baptized? I think it's obvious. They've been living in an unsaved state for all of their life. They've got their mom or their dad or sister or brother or aunt or uncle, all of their friends from work, all of their friends from their social hangouts. All of these people need to be saved. Man, let me tell you, the first thing I do with a new convert is I sit down with them, I talk to them about the importance of sharing their faith, and I begin to prospect. I say, tell me about your parents. Are they saved? Do they go to church anywhere? Tell me about your friends, the guys you play golf with, girls you hang out with, whoever it may be. And you know, you got to be involved in prospecting, and don't just rely upon your memory, please. Now, I'm reasonably intelligent. I consider myself reasonably intelligent. Now, don't ask my mother-in-law because she won't agree with that, amen? But I consider myself reasonably intelligent, but I can't remember everything. It's not very wise for me to try to remember just everything that comes into my 2 ears and register it somewhere in here. I take cards out and I write notes down, and I want to be busy in the Master's business. Hey, if I was selling cookware, I guarantee you I'd have all of your names and addresses, and I'd come visit your home, and I'd want to make a sale so that I could earn a living and take care of my family. How much more important is the gospel of Christ than cookware? Amen? How much more important is the gospel of Christ than a real estate customer? Man, let's prospect. Let's find out about people. Let's write it down. Let's look at that paragraph again. This is healthy soul winning with good prospecting being done, while one is also winning others to Christ. This is the goal of a producing soul-winning club. Look at that next paragraph. The top of the next paragraph, it's titled this. Here's the question: who does the talking? Who does the talking? Now, this is not a marriage seminar. So ladies, don't punch your wives, and men, don't punch your wives, and ladies, don't mess with your husbands. Hey, I'm not talking about who does the talking in your relationship. I'm talking about in a soul-winning club. Who does the talking? Think about it. If you're out and you're a trainer and you've got a trainee, who should do the talking? Let's answer that question in the next paragraph. Who does the talking? It is the job of the trainer to train their trainee. Write that down. It is the job of the trainer to train their trainee. Therefore, the trainee, write that down, the trainee will listen to their trainer, make all gospel presentations in the home for the first few weeks. After this observation season has passed, the trainee should make a presentation once in a while with the trainer making observations. Write that down. With the trainer making observations and giving advice. Making observations and giving advice, and look at this last phrase, so important, after they leave the home. After they leave the home. That's written in there, but I want you to circle it. After they leave the home. If I'm sitting here and I'm training Bob, and we're out on soul-winning visitation, and we're talking to a couple about Christ, and this is his first time presenting the gospel, and he's learning the 13-point plan like you've already heard from Dr. Wood, and he gets on the plan, and he starts to stumble and fumble and bumble a little bit, and I stand up and say, Bob, you are so dumb and stupid. I wish you'd learn that plan. I mean, what have I just done? I've not only ruined any chance we have of winning this couple to Christ, but I've also hurt Bob really, really severely. Don't embarrass your trainees. If you need to make an observation, then make it. Maybe make a little note to yourself and give them some advice, but do it after they leave the home. I want you to look over in your note-taking section, and I want you to write down something for me. Over in the blank section, I want you to write down this phrase. Are you ready? Write it down just like I give it to you. Determine who is going to do the talking before you get to the door. Isn't that important? Listen now, listen. Determine who is going to do the talking before you get to the door. I mean, there can only be one person presenting the gospel. There can only be one person that's making the plan clear to these people and opening the scriptures and talking to them and getting involved with them on a spiritual level. The other person, we call that person the silent partner or the second man. And we want them to know that they are important, but they're to be praying and they're to be watching out for any distractions. And all of this is covered in the training that you give these people in your Operation Go Soul Winning Club. But I want to encourage you that when you go out with people, make sure they know, hey, listen, I'm the trainer. I'm going to be doing the talking this time. Or make sure they know, hey, listen, Bob, this is going to be your first or second or third time giving the gospel. You're going to be the lead soul winner here, and I want you to make sure that you get on the plan and you start witnessing as it comes up in the conversation. Continue now with your next paragraph. Sometimes, and this happens quite a bit, watch this. Sometimes you will find that a trainee has had a lot of experience in visitation. He will think that he should jump right in and, quote, take the reins when presenting the gospel. This should be tactfully dealt with, and he should be told that this is standard procedure. In other words, the trainer is in charge when you're out on soul winning. He should be told this is standard procedure. He must understand that he is to, and write this phrase down, he must understand that he is to follow the 13-point plan exactly as it is taught. follow the 13-point plan exactly as it is taught in the training session, so that he can see soul winning that wins people to Christ and brings them into the church. Now, why is that so important? I was training one of the deacons I had in my former church in Ohio. And as we began to get on the plan, and I began to try to train him in how to lead souls, preacher, I've done this lots of times. I said, well, that's great. I'm really excited about that. But if you want to be a trainer in our soul winning club, you need to follow the plan as it is given and as it is taught. Now, why is that important? Because when we train your people, when you train your people, when we train your people together by use of video and note-taking procedures and the 13-point plan and the follow-up books and all the things we're talking about during our sessions today and over the next several days we spend together, I want you to understand, my friends, that it is important we stay on the same page. If we don't train our trainees correctly, think about it, it may not seem like such a big deal to you. Bob can use his own plan, and I'll use the 13-point plan, and Bob can use his follow-up procedures, and I'll use the follow-up procedures as designated in the soul winning club that we're using. It's not really a big deal in this first generation, but what if Bob becomes a trainer? Now, all of a sudden, every person you give to Bob as a trainee, they'll be learning one thing in the club and practicing something different in the field. And that, my friend, is a recipe for discouragement. It's really a recipe for failure. So make sure people that maybe have been soul winners before, maybe in their prior church they were involved in outreach and witnessing, and hey, I'm glad. I'm not saying that we have the only system that works. We don't have a market on the gospel, my friends, but I'm just telling you, when you train your people, make sure that even the experienced folks who may come to your church from other parts of the country that have a knowledge of soul winning, get them on board with your soul winning club, let them become trainees first, and then learn how to become responsible trainers underneath the umbrella of your soul winning club and your personal system of outreach within your local church.